to be taking steps towards reunification. Following a referendum back then on both the Turkish and Greek sides of the country, talks have stagnated. The history of the island's division goes back more than 3 decades to the summer of 1974, when Turkish troops entered northern Cyprus following a military coup backed by the Greek government. The fighting that resulted led to the disappearance of 2,000 people and the displacement of up to 250,000. In 1983, the northern third of the country proclaimed itself a separate state, the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey and fully dependent on that country. The 2004 effort for reunification failed when Greek Cypriots voted overwhelmingly against it, despite a 2/3 vote in favor by the Turkish side. Well, today, Greek Cypriots enjoy EU membership, while the Turkish Cypriots remain in the north in a state of isolation. On this show, we get the perspective of Turkish Cyprus and explore what people there see as the long-term solution. And don't forget, we take your questions and comments on this show via mobile and phone text, and the numbers are there on your screen. Joining us now from Nicosia, the only divided capital remaining in the world, is Turgay Avci, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Northern Cyprus. Welcome. We have quite a long satellite delay, so I'll start off with the first question there, sir, and just say, let's start by getting from you the perspective on where Turkish Cyprus stands right now. Is reunification still on the table as far as you're concerned?
Well, thank you very much for the question. First of all, I would like to stress on one thing. The Cyprus problem has not started in 1974. Cyprus problem has started in 1963, after Greek Cypriots have destroyed the so-called partnership of republic. You know, in 1960, Cyprus Republic was established between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots equally, and Turkish Cypriots were kicked out of this republic in 1963. So Cyprus issue has started in 63, and thanks God for 74 that Turkish troops came and saved us. Well, still the Cyprus issue is on the table, and the reunification issue is on the table, but Turkish Cypriots have done everything they could in 2004, where we have said yes for the referendum, for the Annan plan, and the Greek Cypriots were the ones who have rejected this comprehensive settlement in 2004. And we have also tried to sit down and discuss this issue since 2004, but Greek Cypriots have always rejected it. This is a very important issue that we should put first of all.
How surprised were you by the way the vote went back then in 2004 with, as we'd mentioned, about two-thirds of Turkish Cypriots saying, yes, we look for reunification, but about 75% said on the Greek side, no, we're not interested?
Well, because that was a plan prepared by United Nations, Annan plan put on the table, the most comprehensive plan ever put on the table for Cyprus issue, and the whole UN, the whole EU, United States have asked Turkish Cypriots, have asked us to vote yes. And we were told that we have to vote yes because this would open the way of the isolations, unite Turkish Cypriots with the rest of the world, and we have done it. We have done what was asked by UN, EU, USA. We were happy to have this solution coming up, but Greeks have rejected it. They have voted 76% no. You know why they voted no? Because they did not want to share anything with us. No power sharing, no economical sharing, nothing. Because they wanted to keep the state and the republic by themselves. And they did so. Even they voted no.
Let me ask you, sir, how you feel about the, obviously the concerns about issues of return of properties and the presence of Turkish troops remaining?
Turkish troops are here as a guarantor right of 1960 Constitution. They are not here for a vacation. They came here in 1974 to rescue us from the coup d'etat of the Greek Cypriots. And they did not only save us, they saved even Greek Cypriots because they were killing each other starting 15th of July. So Turkish troops' presence in Cyprus is a guarantor right depending on 1960 Constitution. And they will continue being here until there is a just, equal settlement.
Now, of course, if that referendum was to have gone ahead, I mean, I think one of the concerns was that Turkish troops would remain after that. We had an email from Mary in Texas in the USA referring to the fact that if the referendum was yes and there was reunification and that there was Turkish troops still there, Mary's asking, well, what about the presence of Turkish troops? How could Greek Cypriots ever be comfortable with that?
Well, I am asking Mary to read the referendum once more. If she doesn't have it, I will send it to her, because the referendum results, the Annan plan said, if two sides say yes, all the foreign troops, Turkish troops from here and the Greek troops from the other side, would leave the island step by step, and only a very small amount would remain with the number of 1960 constitution. So Turkish troops would have left the island if the plan was accepted. This is the reality.
Can I ask you, how has the Greek Cypriot accession to the European Union affected the prospects for a long-term solution to the island's unity?
Well, this was the biggest mistake Europe could ever do, because we have accepted this comprehensive settlement. Turkish Cypriots have said yes for this plan, and Greek Cypriots have rejected. What has happened at the end? Greek Cypriots have been rewarded by being accepted into EU, and Turkish Cypriots have been isolated from the rest of the world by saying yes for a solution. I am asking, where is the human reality? Where is equality? Where is the what we call equality of existence? So I would like to say one more thing. EU has done its biggest mistake, and European leaders do accept this mistake, but they say, what can we do now? There are lots of things they can do.
Well, let's get Anwar in Paris on the line. Anwar has a question. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Riz. I would like to ask Mr. Minister, that the tug of war between Turkish Cypriot and Greek Cypriot is going on for a long time. When it will be finished? Can we expect that it will be finish, end up in near future?
Right. What optimism do you have for a solution?
Well, thank you very much for the question. In fact, that's a question everybody should ask. This problem has started in 1963 and has gone up to 2004 with this referendum. We have accepted a solution. It was rejected by Greek Cypriots. And Greek Cypriots have been accepted to EU, where they have all the rights to veto everything, where they have all the rights to keep us away from the world, and where they have the power of isolating Turkish Cypriots. This is the problem, and we are still on the table for a solution, for an equal, just solution under the UN umbrella, but Greeks are always away from a solution because they have the membership of EU, they have all the economical support from the rest of the world, and they are the so-called Republic of Cyprus. They are holding my right of Cyprus Republic. These are the things that should be discussed. We are after a solution, but if they are not coming for a solution, then the rest of the world should look after Turkish Cypriots. The isolations should be removed. We should have the right to fly directly to United States, to Europe. Why don't I have the right to fly directly to another country? Why don't I have the right to sell my products to Europe? These are the questions that we should discuss.
So presumably, Minister, you feel that the EU and perhaps the international community hasn't really done anything to end the isolation of northern Turkey, northern Cyprus, as you see it. Also, let me ask you, to what extent you feel the issue of the EU membership for both Turkish northern Cyprus and for Turkey itself is being used unfairly as leverage to create a situation of create a solution.
Well, membership of Greek Cypriots to EU gave them the power to threaten Turkey on the accession of Turkey to EU. And they are always threatening Turkey to veto Turkey in EU. And they are keeping this power of rejecting all rights of Turkish Cypriots. And EU has taken a decision. They have a council decision in 2004 saying that financial aid will be applied to Turkish Cypriots, 259 million euro. And up to now, only 30 million euro could be applied because Greek Cypriots are preventing it. Europe said we will have direct trade regulation accepted for Turkish Cypriots, for us to sell our products to European countries. Greeks have prevented, and it has been now almost 4 years that this regulation has not been passed. Why? Because Greek Cypriots are in EU. In fact, they will use this power to prevent all the openings to Turkish Cypriots. We also have problems with our educational systems because Greeks are preventing us being accepted into Bologna process. This is educational right. This is an individual human right. And we are being prevented by this human right as well. My kid is being prevented in competing with an American kid or a European kid. My kid have no right of competing, playing sports, playing football, or doing anything with another kid in the rest of the world. Okay. Why is that? Because I'm a Turkish Cypriot.
Minister, let me get Angelo on the line from Botswana because Angelo has a question as well. Go ahead, Angelo. Angelo in Botswana. Are you there, Angelo?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Riz Khan. I have a question to the gentleman who is answering this.
Go on. Keep going, Angelo.
All these years, the Turkish Cypriots, they never wanted the reunification with the Cyprus. Why at once they want to get in?
Okay, so Angelo feels that perhaps you didn't really want your reunification all this time, Minister.
Well, Mr. Angelo, how did you find out that we do not want? For the first time, a referendum has taken place by international community, and we have voted yes. In the past, there have been many talks on the table, but never a referendum has taken place. So this is the first time in the history that the world has asked Turkish and Greek people, what do you want? And the answer was, we want a solution. This is the reality.
Kostas is on the line from London. Kostas, go ahead.
Good evening.
Right. Go ahead.
My question to the Minister is the following. Why and how come is the fact that on 18% of the population are Turkish, and yet they occupy 40% of our land, and they won't allow us to go in our homes?
Okay.
Well, the answer is we are after a solution, but you do not want to share anything. Greek Cypriots are not after sharing anything with Turkish Cypriots. And the Greek Cypriots want to accept us as minorities, and they want to keep this state by themselves. We have to go back to 1960. The Partnership of Republic of Cyprus was established equally by Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots. And Greek Cypriots have been using this so-called Cyprus Republic since '63 by themselves. So we have the right to live freely as any other person in the rest of the world.
Minister, since you've been in office, there seems to be an increase in the number of contacts or the increase in the level of contacts between Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus and the organization of the Islamic Conference. In what way has that increase in contact been reflected in bilateral relations between Turkish Northern Cyprus and the OIC countries?
Well, Turkish Republic of North Cyprus and the OIC countries have been extending their bilateral relations. OIC's decisions have always been taken, but we have moved on and we have helped for these decisions to be realized and to become in reality. In fact, we have increased our bilateral relations with many countries. We have opened 3 new offices in OIC countries, and which are Qatar, Oman, and Kuwait. We have started our ferryboat ships between Syria and TRNC after 30 years. That means we have started our bilateral relations with the rest of the world. We have had many businessmen going to Kuwait for trade relations, and we are expecting many Saudi Arabia businessmen coming to TRNC for future cooperation. OIC has been in great cooperation with us. Secretary General Professor Ekmelettin Ihsanoğlu and his teams, the Secretariat, has been in good relations. They have visited Turkish Republic on North Cyprus, and we have opened ourselves to OIC countries.
Okay.
We are now moving forward. We will use all the openings of OIC countries to Turkish Cypriots, and we will improve these relations in the coming months as well.
Let's squeeze in a call from Lee in the United Kingdom. Lee, what would you like to ask?
Hi there. What I'd like to know is the number of Turks in Cyprus are, in relation to the population of Cyprus, a minority, yet they're after 50% of the power, shall we say. How can they ask for such a thing when a similar population minority in Turkey, i.e. the Kurds, aren't given 50% of the power in Turkey? How can they justify wanting 50% when their population is only about 20%?
Minister.
Well, Mr. Lee, I am referring you to the Constitution of 1960, which has been signed by Turkey, Greece, United Kingdom, where you are now, Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots. And 50% power sharing was there in 1960. So these are the rights of Turkish Cypriots since the establishment of the Cyprus Republic, where we were kicked out. And humanitarianly, we have the rights on Cyprus. We have been here for so many centuries, and we have as equal rights as Greek Cypriots do. This is the reality.
Minister, we have literally 15 seconds or so. Let me just ask how the July the 8th process of 2006 might lead to some prospects. You don't have long, I'm afraid, but a quick thought on how you might move forward.
Well, 8th July was started by Turkish Cypriots. It was started by our President Talat, where technical committees were to set up for humanistic relations. And we have asked Mr. Papadopoulos to come and meet the President since 2006, 8th July. He has never come until 5th September of 2007, where he was doing this just for his internal politics of elections in February 2008.
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. We're out of time, though. I thank you very much for joining us there from Nicosia. I hope to speak with you again soon. Thank you, sir. And thank you for being with us. We should point out we've approached the Greek Cypriot side for their perspective and are still waiting confirmation they'll join us. On tomorrow's show, the Los Angeles Police Department is mapping out Muslim areas. We'll talk to representatives from the LAPD and the Muslim community about this issue. Don't forget, if you have any thoughts about pressing issues, send your emails to riz@aljazeera.net. We'll see you next time. Street Talk is next.